Right now, there's $7 trillion sitting on the sidelines. Not in some billionaire's bank account, not locked in a vault, it's trapped in a trust crisis that's choking the entire global mining industry, and IOTA just figured out how to break it open. We're talking copper, lithium, tantalum, the stuff that powers your phone, your Tesla, your entire digital life. The world is screaming for these minerals, but the money? It's frozen. Until now. Stay with me, because what IOTA is doing in Rwanda could reshape global trade as we know it. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I break down the crypto projects that are actually building real-world infrastructure, not just pumping meme coins, so smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon because this IOTA story is one you absolutely cannot miss. According to McKinsey, the world needs $4.7 trillion by 2035 just to expand mining, refining, and energy infrastructure. That's not a typo, trillion with a T. Electric vehicles are exploding in demand. AI systems are devouring rare earth elements. Your smartphone? It's basically a mineral cocktail wrapped in glass. But here's where it gets weird. We're not running out of minerals. There's plenty underground. The problem? Nobody trusts where they come from. Banks won't finance mining projects because supply chains are shadier than a gas station sushi restaurant. You've got opaque operations, questionable ESG compliance, and zero verifiable traceability. So despite screaming demand, capital investment has flatlined. Trillions of dollars are collecting dust while the world desperately needs copper and lithium. It's like watching someone starve next to a locked refrigerator. Frustrating doesn't even begin to cover it. Now, add another $2.5 trillion trade finance gap into the mix. That's the amount of money trapped because financial institutions can't verify cross-border mineral transactions. They don't know if the tantalum shipment from Rwanda is legit, or if it passed through 3 shell companies and a dictator's cousin. Without transparency, the money stays frozen. And while everyone's sitting around pointing fingers, electric vehicle manufacturers are scrambling, tech companies are sweating, and the green energy transition is hitting a massive bottleneck. Here's the part that should make you nervous. If we don't solve this trust problem soon, the entire infrastructure backbone of modern technology grinds to a halt. No batteries, no chips, no renewable energy at scale. We're not talking about some abstract economic theory here. This is real-world chaos brewing beneath the surface. And most people have no idea it's happening. So, enter IOTA and Salus. These guys looked at the problem and said, what if we just made everything transparent? Not with promises or paperwork, but with blockchain-backed digital rails that track every single mineral from mine to market. And, in Rwanda they're already doing it, with tantalum, which is a supercritical metal used in chips and batteries. Every shipment gets a digital twin on IOTA's network. Banks can verify origin, ownership, and movement in real time. No more guessing games, no more trust me bro supply chains, and this is really where it gets spicy. By creating verifiable traceability, IOTA and Salus are positioning themselves to unlock that combined $7 trillion in trapped capital. As they brilliantly put it, we don't have a minerals shortage, we have a trust shortage, and honestly, that's the quote of the year. Because once you solve trust, the money flows. Banks get confidence. ESG compliance becomes provable, mining projects get funded, and suddenly, that locked refrigerator, wide open. Let me give you my take on why this matters way more than another DeFi yield farm. IOTA isn't chasing hype cycles, they're embedding themselves into the physical infrastructure of global trade. That's a completely different game. While other blockchains are fighting over NFT royalties, IOTA is tracking actual rocks that power civilization. That's not sexy marketing copy. That's strategic positioning. And they're not stopping at Rwanda. IOTA has been expanding aggressively across the African continent. In May, they unveiled the Twin Foundation at the AFCFTA Digital Trade Forum in Zambia. The goal? Build an open, decentralized infrastructure for global trade that's accessible to everyone. Dominic Schiener, IOTA's co-founder, confirmed they're tokenizing physical commodities like coffee and rare earth metals across Africa. This isn't vaporware, it's boots-on-the-ground execution. During the third quarter of 2025, IOTA deployed the non-sharded version of Starfish on DevNet. For the non-technical folks, that's basically the testing phase before a major network upgrade hits mainnet. So, developers and node operators got to stress test the protocol, which means when it goes live, the bugs are already squashed. That's a pretty smart rollout strategy, if you ask me. But the real flex? Binance joined IOTA as a validator. Yeah, just let that marinate for a second. The world's largest crypto exchange is now validating transactions on IOTA's network. And honestly, that's not just a partnership announcement for a press release. That's Binance actually putting skin in the game. They're betting on IOTA's infrastructure for the long haul. Now let's talk regulation because, well, most crypto projects run from it like it's radioactive, but IOTA, they're running toward it. DeFi Technologies launched an IOTA exchange-traded product on Sweden's Spotlight stock market through their subsidiary Valor Inc. European investors can now buy IOTA exposure through traditional brokerage accounts. No sketchy offshore exchanges, no wallet seed phrase anxiety. Just click and invest like you're buying Apple stock. That's massive for institutional adoption. Pension funds and wealth managers aren't touching crypto unless it's wrapped in regulatory compliance. IOTA just handed them that on a silver platter. This is how you bridge TradFi and DeFi without compromising either side. The entire market got hammered after Trump's tariff announcement. Bitcoin dipped, Ethereum dipped, everything dipped. So IOTA taking a hit isn't some isolated disaster, it's market-wide volatility. Alright folks, let's geek out on some technical innovations because this is where IOTA really separates itself from the pack. They've just wrapped up their work in the European blockchain sandbox after 3 years and a whopping 60 projects. Pretty impressive, right? Now, this is a European Commission initiative that puts blockchain solutions through some real regulatory scrutiny. IOTA piloted tokenized KYC and identity verification solutions with partners like ID Now, Vault.id and Bloom Wallet. It's pretty fascinating stuff. So, what's one key breakthrough here? Soulbound tokens. These are non-transferable credentials that prove KYC status without exposing personal data on-chain. Your identity is verified, but your sensitive information stays off the ledger. It's like the perfect balance between compliance and privacy, don't you think? And if you think that's not important, just wait until the European Union rolls out mandatory supply chain transparency requirements. IOTA is already compliant. Building on that, IOTA introduced the IOTA Trust Framework. It's an open-source suite of modular tools. You've got IOTA Identity for verifiable credentials, IOTA Notarization for anchoring data proofs on-chain, IOTA Hierarchies for structured permissions and delegation, and IOTA Tokenization for bringing real-world assets onto the blockchain. And, honestly, my personal favorite, the IOTA gas station, which makes transactions user-friendly by allowing gas-free or sponsored transfers. So, why does the gas station matter? Because, let's be real, most people don't want to calculate gas fees. They definitely don't want to hold 3 different tokens just to interact with a decentralized app. IOTA abstracts all that complexity away. You just use the application. The blockchain handles trust in the background. That's how you get mass adoption, by making the technology invisible. The headline demo, a digital product passport that tracks a product's entire life cycle, manufacturing, repair, recycling, all verifiable and privacy-preserving. This isn't theoretical. The European Union is making digital product passports mandatory in sectors like textiles. IOTA built the solution before the regulation even hit. That's called being early, not late. Here's my expert opinion. IOTA is playing 4D chess while most crypto projects are still learning checkers. They're embedding themselves into regulatory frameworks, building with governments and enterprises, and solving trillion-dollar problems that affect actual industries. That's not a meme coin pump. That's infrastructure. Look, IOTA might not be the flashiest project in crypto. It's not going to 100x overnight because some influencer tweeted about it, but what it is doing is building the trust infrastructure for global trade. And if they execute, if they actually unlock even a fraction of that $7 trillion, this could be one of the most undervalued projects in the entire space right now. If this video made you see IOTA in a new light, do me a favor. Drop a like, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and check out my other videos where I break down projects that are quietly building the future. I've got deep dives on real-world asset tokenization regulatory compliance plays and the supply chain revolution happening right under everyone's noses. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Quick reminder, this is not financial advice. Crypto is risky. IOTA could moon or it could tank. Do your own research, never invest more than you can afford to lose, and always understand the projects you're putting money into. Stay safe out there.